Hello, I'm John Stainsby. In this lesson, we're going to cover how to work with JupyterLab. JupyterLab is a next-generation web-based user interface. It's also the interface for notebook sessions. The reason we use JupyterLab interface and notebook sessions is because they're familiar to data scientists who can easily navigate the interface, which makes for easy adoption of the data science service. It enables users to work with and integrate documents and activities, including Jupyter notebooks, text editors, terminals, and custom components. It allows for interactive computing and understands many file formats such as images, CSVs, JSON, Markdown, PDF, as well as Vega and Vega Lite. Let's quickly differentiate between JupyterLab as an open source tool and what you'll see in the data science console. While the menu structure and layout is identical, there are three main differences in the data science interface. As we'll see next, the launcher provides easy access to your notebooks, console, text editor, terminal, environment explorer, and notebook examples. The Environment Explorer, which we'll talk about in the next lesson, is a GUI tool that allows you to manage and search for Conda environments. Finally, the GitHub extension, which we'll discuss in Lesson 9, allows customers to easily use Git to version control their code inside the notebook session. There are several features of JupyterLab that we will discuss in the coming demo. Perhaps three of the most prominent are the menu bar at the top of JupyterLab, which has top-level menus that expose actions available in JupyterLab with their keyboard shortcuts. The launcher, as mentioned, provides easy access to the most common items. As with menus, keyboard shortcuts, and the command palette, new items can be added to the application launcher via commands. The left sidebar contains a number of commonly used tabs, including File Browser, List of Tabs, Command Palette, Table of Contents, and Extension Manager. Some other features and functionality that we'll explore in the demo include the main work area in JupyterLab, which enables you to arrange documents and other activities into panels of tabs that can be resized or subdivided. The work area has a single current activity. The tab for the current activity is marked with a colored border, which is blue by default. Code consoles provide transient scratch pads for running code interactively with full support for rich output. Kernel-backed documents enable code in any text file to be run interactively in any Jupyter kernel. Multiple views of documents with different editors or viewers enable live editing of documents reflected in other viewers. With kernel management, accessible from the kernel menu, users can access actions for managing kernels, which are separate processes for running code. Then, the right sidebar contains the Property Inspector, which is active in notebooks. All user actions in JupyterLab are processed through a centralized command system. These commands are shared and used throughout JupyterLab. The command palette provides a keyboard-driven way to search for and run JupyterLab commands. Let's start with the top Chrome bar. On the left, you'll see the Oracle logo. Clicking this will bring you back to the Cloud Console homepage. Next, to the right, you'll see your notebook session's name. If you click on this, you'll navigate back to the notebook session details page within the Oracle Cloud Console. Next, over to the right, you'll see Session Remaining. You're automatically logged out of a notebook session after an hour of inactivity by default. You can change this behavior in each notebook and extend the notebook session time by up to 23 hours for a total of 24 hours. Next, the help icon will take you to some useful OCI documentation, and lastly, you can sign out of the notebook. Next, let's look at the left sidebar. The top icon is for the file folder browser. You can navigate into and out of directories. And you can open files by double-clicking them. You can also add folders and delete folders. The next item down is the terminal and kernel sessions running within the notebook. You can stop a process from running from this view by clicking Shutdown. The next item down is an extension that assists with working with Git. This is covered in a different lesson, so we're not going to go into depth here. The next item down is commands, and this gives you access to all the commands in JupyterLab. You can use the search to find a specific command, such as the variable inspector. The next item down is the property inspector. And the next item will show you all of your open tabs in a list. The next item is your table of contents. This tool will pass the markdown of notebook files and show you the table of contents that allows you to navigate through different sections of the notebook file. The last item will show you any additional extensions you have installed in JupyterLab. To hide the left sidebar, simply click any of the icons twice. You can open the launcher anytime by clicking the plus icon from the Folder Browse toolbar, or by going to the File menu and selecting New Launcher. You can close tabs like this. The launcher provides easy access to your notebooks, console, text editor, terminals, environment explorer, and notebook examples. We'll walk through the launcher now. At the top of the launcher, you get quick access to documentation about the environment explorer, notebook examples, and how to get started for the first time. As we scroll down on the left side, you'll see two useful extensions, the Environment Explorer and Notebook Examples. The Environment Explorer extension helps you discover Conda environments that you can install and track the Conda environments that you already have installed in this notebook session. The Notebook Examples extension will help you discover and access tutorials and documentation for how to work with different features of the service and complete different use cases. The right side of the launcher allows you to easily create new files and sessions. When you click an item in the kernel list, you can create a new notebook file or a console session using that kernel. We'll come back to this in a moment. The other list will create terminal sessions or other types of file like Markdown or text files. So let's create a new notebook using the Python 3 kernel. Click on the Python 3 kernel and select Create Notebook. When you create a new notebook, the service populates some useful tips at the top of the file. These tips help you check for internet connectivity, access help documentation, gives you some typical imports and settings for ADS, and also some useful environment variables. When you've created a new notebook, you can rename it by right-clicking on it and clicking Rename, and typing New Name. You can run code in the cells by writing your Python code in the cell and then running the cell. For example, we can ask it to print Hello World. You can run code in cells a number of ways. You can click the triangle icon to run the selected cell. You can use the Run menu and choose Selected Cell, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift-Enter. While the code is running or is queued to run, there will be a star icon to the left of the cell. When it's complete, it will show a number that counts the order that the cells will run in a notebook. You can change the type of cell by choosing the drop-down menu that says Code and selecting a different option, for example, Markdown. You can document your code cells by writing Markdown in other cells. For example, we'll write #title to create a title. You can change the order of cells by clicking on the left side and dragging the cell up or down. Let's explore some of the options in the Edit menu. For example, we can click in a cell and go to Edit, and then we can merge selected cells. We can also split the selected cells. You can change the kernel of the notebook by clicking the kernel name in the top right and selecting a different kernel option. Now let's look at a more complicated notebook by looking at a notebook example. So we'll go back to the launcher, select our notebook examples, and in this pre-installed Conda environment, which I added but you will learn how to do in detail in a later lesson, the following notebooks are available, and I'm going to choose the binary classification attrition and click Load Example. Now that it's loaded, I can go and run all cells. While this is running, if I want to stop the process, I can go to the kernel menu and select Interrupt Kernel. This is the same as using the shutting down kernel tool as shown before. Since this notebook ran part way, I can show the variables that were set by going to the Variable Inspector. Let's say I want to see the variables side by side with my notebook, or have two tabs visible. If I click on the tab and drag it around until different parts of the screen are highlighted blue, and release it, I can now see my notebook and my Variable Inspector side by side. To go back to full screen, I'll drag the tab back to the blue box on the title bar. Let's explore some of the options in the View menu. Back in my attrition notebook, for example, if I want to show line numbers, I can select View and Show Line Numbers. You can use the View menu options to collapse cells, such as Collapse All Code. You can also collapse all outputs. You can expand cells using the Expand options, like Expand All Outputs. Let's explore some of the JupyterLab settings. For example, you can change the theme. Let's go back to the File Explorer. You can create new files by right-clicking here, or you can also upload files by dragging and dropping them into the file browser. Let's try that with a CSV. Depending on the file type will depend how JupyterLab allows you to view the file, but a CSV is going to show you the columns and rows of your data. Let's go back to the launcher and open up a terminal session. You can use standard Linux commands here, for example ls, to see a list of files. Other command line tools such as odsc conda CLI, the git CLI, and the OCI CLI are installed here. Lastly, within JupyterLabs, there's a help menu that gives you access to reference material, FAQs, and help documentation. So, in this section, we discussed an overview of JupyterLab, how the different interfaces compare, we talked about many features and functions of JupyterLab, and showed how to navigate JupyterLab. Thank you.